William Blake was born in 1757 and died in 1827. William was very imaginative. Though he had no formal education, he loved to read. And some of his favorite things to read was English poetry and the Bible. William Blake was very, very religious and believed in his faith. Um, he did not, he didn't just, he didn't, he didn't read poetry or write poetry or anything like that to keep the lights on. Instead, he engraved things and he painted things for people, and that is how he paid the bills. He was most known for his work in the early 1800s. I'm a liar. I'm a big liar. He was known for his works in the 1790s. And in the early 1800s, big difference, he made a rash decision, which included him hurting someone violently. Why do I keep saying he hurt someone, and that ended him in jail. And then we went to trial, and he could have been charged with life in prison. But miraculously, jury changed their minds, and his case ended with applause. William Blake went on to writing many well pieces, but the reason that the prison scene in his biography is such a huge thing is because he had written a piece of how he was about being being in prison, and people kind of made the connection, and that is William Blake.
By William Blake. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and over the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Little lamb, I'll tell thee. Little lamb, I'll tell thee. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild, and he became a little child. I a child, thou a lamb, we are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee.
In the poem, The Lamb by William Blake, basically the speaker in this poem is like a child speaking to a lamb, asking many questions about its origin, who it came from, what made it, its wool, everything like that. And the speaker, the child talking to the lamb, answers its own question by saying the lamb was made by the person who calls himself the lamb, or Jesus Christ. The poem ends when the child gives the lamb a blessing, and basically this small child speaking to the lamb is speaking in a soft and gentle tone, just as the person he describes who created it, Jesus, is soft and gentle towards everything he creates.
Chimney Sweeper by William Blake. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. There's little Tom Dackery, who cried when his head, that curled like a lamb's back, was shaved. So I said, hush, Tom, never mind it, for your head it's bare. You know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was asleep, he had such a sight, that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked in coffins of black. And by them came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing they run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he be a good boy, he'd have God for his father and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, and we got in our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold and Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm.
In the poem The Chimney Sweeper by William Blake, this poem starts off with the chimney sweeper talking about himself and explaining himself to us, the readers. Then he moves on to tell us about another chimney sweeper in the story, and about everything and details about him. After telling us about the next chimney sweeper, he describes a dream that he enters into with this chimney sweeper. He explains how it relates to him and to his job. Then both the chimney sweepers, both at once, wake up and they go on to their normal lives and they sweep chimneys just as nothing ever happened. And the speaker, the one telling the story, is happier and warmer and okay with everything in his life.
By William Blake. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? And in what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer and what the chain in the furnace was thy brain? And the anvil, what dread grasp dare the deadly terrors grasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, does his smile work to see? Did he know who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry?
In The Tiger by William Blake, this poem starts out with the speaker talking about a tiger and asking who could have created it. The speaker wonders how after the creature's horrible heart has begun to beat, after whoever created it started, wondered how he could finish after the one beat had begun. He compares the creator to a blacksmith, and the anvil in the furnace, and the tiger's brain being made, just to give an example of what he could be talking about when it was fashioned. He was wondering if the creator of the tiger smiled at his work or was unhappy with the way it turned out. And he also compares the tiger to the creator of the tiger to the creator of the lamb. And he wonders if the same person who created the gentle, soft, kind creature could be the same person who created such a horrible, courageous animal.